Good morning and welcome back. How many of you have ever been warned about something and you did it anyway? You said it anyway. I play golf quite a bit, and the one thing that I will not do is play golf when it's thundering and lightning. Now, I'll play when it's raining, that's okay. But the first sign of any thundering or lightning, I'm gone. There's too many trees. You got these iron shafts in your hand, and you've been warned enough that you should not be on a golf course when there's lightning and thundering. And there's so many golf players, when you drive by a golf course and you see it raining, lightning, and thundering, they're still out there playing. They're not heeding to the warning signs, to the information, the notification that they've been given. And that's a lot of us. We've been given so many warning signs and we still do it. Makes you wonder what's inside of us. But when you truly analyze human behavior, we are certainly a peculiar people. We don't like rules or laws. We don't like anyone telling us what to do. But we like rules and laws for everyone else because we like, if you will, coloring outside the lines when it comes to ourselves. We like slightly bending the rules to benefit us when we can. But everyone else, no, 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 no. You need to follow these set of rules. We don't need you getting the advantage that I'm getting. I mean, that's the way we are. We have all these warning signs. We have, if you will, thousands of warning signs, uh, written words, pictures, if you will. If you don't know this language in America, just an example, we have these pictures on these signs that kind of inform you, alert you, notify you that, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's coming ahead. And so I call those universal warnings, if you will. It's something that lets us all know what's happening. Even if you're in a country like Paris, they have the same symbol, so you can recognize the symbol. But there's a steep curve coming, and the speed limit is posted. Now you might not be able to read that speed limit, but you can see the steep curve, the warning to slow down. Universal. And then we have all these additional warning signs that man has given us, and these symbols, like a stop sign. We know that means stop. Like a yield sign, you know that means slow down and look both ways, come to a pause, and then you can proceed if there's nothing or no one coming. And then, of course, we have red lights, which means stop, and green light, which means go. And really and truly, if you've been driving here in the last century, most people don't heed to those signs at all. They do rolling stops. You know, we've seen so many people run lights and stop signs. It's criminal behavior, if you ask me. And then, of course, we have warnings like a police siren coming down the street. You know, that means, hey, get out the way, something's happening. Or a fire truck coming down, blowing their horns, and there are sirens as well. And of course, we know when we see an ambulance, we know to pull over because something's happening. There's an emergency. If they got that siren blaring, give them the right of way. And then, of course, we have warnings, signs or warning sounds like tornadoes. And everybody wants to know when that's happening. So we can get into safety and get out of harm's way. And then there's the animal kingdom where you have the rattling of sound of a rattlesnake nearby. He don't want to mess with you. He's just letting you know that you're in his terrain. And so he'd rather move from you than you walk up on him. So he rattles to say, hey, I'm here before he strikes. And then there's the spiritual warnings, if you will, like the Ten Commandments. And there's many more, but the Ten Commandments, we find ourselves looking at those as statutes, rules, regulation, guidelines, but we don't see them as warnings. And they are. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not serve other gods or images or idols. Those are warnings to all of us. That if you follow these rules, if you follow these statutes, if you follow these commandments, wow, be careful just living by them as if they just simply on a blank piece of paper. Because if you live by them, you'll find yourself without them. You've got to live. You've got to die, if you will, to the Ten Commandments. I mean, you've got to digest them and realize that you want more of them inside of you than you are inside of you. So yeah, living for them, okay, that's a purpose. But dying to them, see, if you start dying to them, you'll always work towards living for them and obeying them. But just living through, like we live through stuff, we read stuff, like warnings. We have so many warnings that we listen to, but we don't apply. And that's why we find ourselves in the position, the places that we are right now. That's exactly why. In the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1 through 23, I'm going to summarize most of that in a few minutes, but that's where we're going to be for this particular conversation. We have all these, what I call additional warnings from our parents. And there's so many, because I just don't think that most of us understand how much our parents want us to succeed. And so when they're giving us these warnings, we allow our pure group, our pure nature, if you will, we'll allow the sin part of us to really dominate our hearing. Because if you really allow your parents' word to come in and filter through your spirit, man, the spirit side of you that's really wanting you to make it, that's pulling for you, you wouldn't be deaf to what they're saying. You wouldn't have this statement like, oh, my parents are just old. They're just trying to, protect me from stuff that they had to go through. But I'm bigger than that. I'm stronger than that. I'm wiser than them. And no, you're not. That's why they're telling you, because they felt the same way that you feel when they were told by their parents. And so we keep passing these same old warnings down, season to season. Let me give an example. How many times have your mama told you to leave that big head boy alone? I mean, how many times did she tell you she sees trouble and you still all messed up, you're still lusting and your nose is wide open, if you will, for him. You see, we don't bring them around our parents at the beginning because we know that there are some issues here. And we know that mama's already picked his card from a distance. And so you don't bring them around until you mess up. See, when you mess up, then you bring them around and you're trying to get mama to validate him, to sign off to him. And she won't. No, she'll never do that. I know you're trying to say, but mama, I mean, he's a good guy. No, he's not. She can see it. She's heard enough about him. She knows his people. And so she's going to speak her truth because she wants to warn you that even though you're smelling yourself, I'm going to still give it to you the right way. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. How many times have your daddy told you that if you play with matches, if you play with fire, you're going to get burned? Now, we've all heard that one. And we still go play with fire. See, fire don't have to be far from a flame. It could be far from a young lady, far from a young man. It could be far from a job. It could be far at the wrong school, at the wrong place, at the wrong nightclub. There are so many statements being made about if you play with matches, you get burned. If you have sex before marriage, you can get burned. If you're out here trying to have body counts, you can get burned. STDs and everything else. We act like this stuff is not out here, but STDs, elemental P, all this stuff is still out here. And it's reigning and ruling. But you've been warned. You've been warned if you're going to fornicate, whatever you're going to do, that cover it up. I mean, wear something, do something, but don't leave yourself exposed. You've been warned and you still make those same, what I call stupid mistakes. We all have. And sometimes we still do. You've been told that if you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. True statement. Now, dogs in this sense means you're messing with some people you shouldn't be messing with. I mean, these people, let's be for real. I mean, come on, guys. We know. We've been with some young ladies. We know. Oh, wow. What a mess if she'd had your baby. What a mess. I mean, what would you have gotten yourself into? Not calling the ladies dogs, okay? And the same thing with your women. There's some guys that you just simply had a one night, and boy, you like, whoa, what was I thinking? Well, they number dogs, you'll wake up with fleas. You get involved with the wrong business partner. Wow. Yeah. That turns out to be a dog of a man, a dog of a woman. And they're just messy in business. Well, you lay down with them in business. And so now you wake up with those fleas all over you. They have tax problem, now you have tax problem. They have issues with the government, now you have issues with the government. See what I'm saying? There's a lot of ways to lay down with dogs in your life and to wake up with those fleas hanging around the wrong students at school. Yeah, that's the dog you're laying down with. And so you're not getting your schoolwork because they're not getting your schoolwork. And so now you're both for waking up with fleas, with suspensions. We find ourselves understanding that some warnings come through dreams and visions. A lot of you have dreams and you're trying to make them out, and some of them just simply are dreams and they're just a great story, if you will, while you're sleeping. But some dreams have so much merit to it. And I would tell you, you need to look and see exactly what is God trying to say to you. What is God saying to you? Not trying to. What is he saying to you through your dreams? And some of us have visions. And that's a beautiful thing as well, because we can see some things that you can't see. We can hear some things that you can't hear. And so things are not to be taken lightly. But for those of you who are dreaming, every dream doesn't have so much merit to it like some others. But you know when God is speaking. It's just a difference. You know. And so my thing is, make sure you heed to those dreams. God will tell you stuff in your dreams. And things like this that you're doing right now, I am well pleased with. That's what I heard one time. And watch this. We have these dreams, or we have these visions, or we hear the voice of God, and we try to ignore it. Like what was that? But there was something different, something special. And just because you've been so tainted by other people, you don't think God can use you. You don't think you have the abilities inside of you for God to use someone like you. But look at the Bible. God used people from lowly places. That's why Jesus came. Jesus came being meek and humble and not thought of well. Talking about being born in Nazareth. I mean, nothing good can come out of Nazareth. The Lord put him in a place where nothing comes out of that's good, so that he could come up and help a people who need to see good within themselves, and that's you and I. So in the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1 through 23, I'm going to summarize this whole story. Jesus is being born in Bethlehem, spoken by the prophet Micah. And there are wise men coming from the east to come and worship him and to bring gifts to him. But there's an old, ruthless king named King Herod who has a problem with anyone calling themselves the King of Kings, that he's going to be the Messiah, that he's going to be a ruler. As a matter of fact, Micah calls him governor. So King Herod speaks with the wise men and informs them, hey, you're going to see Jesus. Hey, when you find him, hey, come back and let me know so I can go worship him as well. Yeah, right. Worship him. He means to kill him. It means him no good. What king do you know will share his kingdom with another king? None, not one. And that's what we find ourselves in this story. We find ourselves with Joseph, the father of Jesus. Of course, at the very beginning of the story, he fears, or he's afraid because of the embarrassment it's going to take that he didn't father Jesus through Mary. And of course, in a dream, he's told Joseph, don't fear, don't be afraid. Because what she is going to birth is of the Holy Spirit. And so he can see, he says, okay, word up. I got you, because this was bothering me. But here we have Jesus being born. And we know the story so well because it's been told so many times. But I want to talk to the few pieces in this particular story that you might not have seen. The warnings. That's what I'm trying to say. There were warning signs. And I want to warn you of those warning signs so that you might be better prepared the next time you read the story, hear the story. But there's more than just Jesus' birth taking place. That's the most beautiful thing that's happening in the story, don't get me wrong. But King Herod is saying, return unto me, to the wise men. First of all, he asked them, since the star appeared. I mean, where is Jesus and what time did it take place? Now, listen to this craftiness because you got to be careful because King Herod is pushing him for a timeline. And I don't know if you've ever heard before, but loose lips sink ships. You see, sometimes we talk too much. There was a time when most people would keep their comments, their voice to themselves. But since social media is out here, boy, everybody's just blasting off about everything. I mean, you tell your whole resume just 5 words on the internet. That's what we're doing. But most people would keep things to themselves. But with this technology stuff, everything about you is out there. I can find almost anything about you because you told me. No, 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 not your friend. You putting it out there. So the King Herod asked, where is he at? I mean, this child, let me know what time did the star appear. What he's trying to do is guess Jesus' age. Don't know if he's been born yet. He's just trying to guess his age, though. Like what season, what time frame. And I'm telling you, now, the wise men didn't understand what he was asking at that particular point, because I'm quite sure they shared it with him. And that's why you see King Herod, once the wise men leave, and King Herod felt mocked because it didn't come back to him, because they were warned, listen to me, warned in a dream not to go back to King Herod, to go a different way. Yeah, don't take I-30 west. No, no, no. Go back on I-20 west. Go a different way. Because they had been warned that if they go back, basically what was going to happen, he was going to expose Jesus, tell King Herod where he was so he could come and destroy him. But he was also probably going to kill the 3 wise men as well. I mean, why didn't anyone get this out? You see, that's why you have to have an ear to hear what the Lord is saying to you as the church. You have to have an ear. So they had an ear, and they allowed that dream to carry them a different direction. Now, King Herod, the ruthless rascal that he is, of course, we know the story. He kills all the children 2 years and younger trying to get Jesus. But his father Joseph had been warned in a dream. Here we go. Warned in a dream to get up out of here and take him into Egypt. Take him where you go, where people look like you. Yeah, where you can simulate. You can put yourself into the environment. Nobody will know who you are. So Jesus looks like those Egyptians because that nobody would know. So he could just fit right in. And that's what we have to do sometimes. Sometimes we have to just be quiet long enough to listen to the word of God, to listen to him. So let me bring it back home to us. I told you we talk too much. You meet a young man or you meet a young lady, or you're talking with someone at work, and you think everything is just blasé, just cool, calm, and collected. But you start talking, they start asking you what time you get off. They start asking you about things about your home life. They start asking you what time you go to bed to get up so early to come to work. People trying to peep your card. And you just, as they said, diarrhea at the mouth, you're just going, you're just talking, not realizing that this is a King Herod moment, trying to get into the wise man's head. People asking you at a club, where you work at, where you live at, how many children do you have? Where do your children go to school at? And you think these are just healthy conversations just off the cuff, but no, they're trying to get inside of your head. They're trying to get into your life. You don't know who's trying to take advantage of you. And that's the sad part. We don't know when to hold them or when to fold them. And my thing is, you always should hold them close to you, especially when they're talking about your family. About you is one thing, but when they start talking about your family, you better be careful. How many times have your spirit told your flesh no? But your flesh kept saying yes, yes. And we so stupid. We so stupid. We allow the flesh to rule that conversation, knowing that the flesh has nothing for you, nothing good for you. But that's what we give into. We don't heed the warnings from God, even when God gives us a dream. Donnie, don't return that way. Go this way. Me with my knucklehead said, I'm going to go the way that I came. Well, it's faster. Not realizing that Interstate 26 is going to be packed up because there's going to be a major disaster on that freeway. But I went that way anyway, and I'm caught up in it now. But I didn't have to be if I would just listen to that voice, yes, that's inside of me. When the Lord told Joseph to flee to Egypt, He also told him after King Herod was dead, he said, it's time to go back. It's time to go back to Bethlehem. Let's go back now. And what Joseph, he heard on the way that the king's son was in his stead, and so he was afraid of him as well. And so he didn't go to Bethlehem. He didn't go back to where he was supposed to go. What he did was he made a detour and he went to Nazareth. And that's where the statement comes from. Nothing good comes out of Nazareth. You've heard that before. That's what we do. Joseph, being warned where to go, made a detour. God is telling some of you where to go, but you're making detours. Because here's where man gets himself in the way of heavenly plans. God is saying go left, but you know you've been going right so much, and you've had so much success by going right that you want to refute God. And so what you do is you go ahead and you go right. Now, can God make right work for you? Of course he can. He's God. But God says go left. I got an easier road for you, an easy path for you, an easy escape for you out of this marriage. Yes, out of this relationship, out of this job. I've got an easier path for you. Yes. Out of this decision that you made, I've got an easier path for you. But you just have to take your path because you feel God is with me. I mean, come on, surely God will bless the right as well. When he's telling you to go left, no. Sometimes God will let you bump your head because you need to bump your head. Now, I don't believe in someone hitting hard rocks to find their way to get back to where they should be. But that's what people say. Let him hit his head. Let him bump his head. He's got to hit rock bottom. Well, no, sometimes you can't get up from rock bottom. If we were teaching, sharing, that we should listen to the voice of God, and sometimes you have to just wait. But while you're waiting, you should be living a righteous life because you've got so many warnings to live this life. So you know the good from the bad. I mean, it's not like no one's ever told you. No, you've been told before. But your problem is you think you know more than God. So here comes Joseph. Joseph makes a decision not to go, if you will, to Bethlehem. He goes to Nazarene and his son Jesus becomes what they call a Nazareth. When you make that type of decision, you have to understand there's a price to pay. King David paid for having an adulterous affair with Bathsheba, putting her husband on the front line to be killed. He pays a costly price for that. When he doesn't listen to the voice of God, when he doesn't pray before he goes into battle this one time, he pays a price for that. And 70,000 soldiers are killed. Look at the price that you can pay. So when you think about it, how often have you altered God's plans or altered God's advice because you was afraid? And don't get me wrong, we all are afraid from time to time. We are. But when God gives you something, you have to step into it with faith. You have to step into it understanding he's never failed you. He's never failed you. You see, you want your steps ordered by the Lord. So he's saying, go right. You better go right. Because he's got something for you. I don't know what it is. Man, you said, but Donnie, I've gotten in trouble before. Well, okay, that's God's kind of trouble for you. You don't know what he's doing to buff you, to build you. But when you walk yourself the other way, wow, you're walking alone. And I'm telling you, it's best to walk with him than without him. It's best to abide in him so that he can abide in you. It's best to sup with him so he can sup with you. I'm just saying. The Lord told us that his sheep knows his voice, and the stranger they will not follow. That's our problem. It's not so much as a stranger outside that we won't follow. We're following the stranger inside of ourselves. That's your problem. When you become so big in your own head, you become the stranger inside of your own head. And so when God is talking to you, all you hear is you. And I'm telling you, you don't give yourself many warning signs because you think you know everything. All I can tell you is there's always more to a story than a story. And in this story, God gave so many warning signs through dreams and visions. And I just pray that if he's giving you warning signs, that you take that information and you use it wisely. You share it with your family and you abide by it. You live in it and you die to it because you realize that every single day this body is decreasing if you're spiritually sound. This body should be decreasing so that your spirit can be increasing. See, that's a warning sign to all of you. Let this thing decrease, this flesh, this lust that you have inside of you. Whatever these cravings or these urges, let this thing die so that God can rise up inside of you. He says that if you decrease and I increase, wow, that statement, if you lift me, I'll draw all men unto me. Well, you've got to decrease so that we can lift him. How can you lift him if you're standing taller than him? See, we've got to get prostrated. The lower you go, the higher he rises. And that's a warning to all of us. There's a judgment day coming. And I pray you realize that warning has been posted and blasting for centuries, for decades, for thousands and thousands of years. And that warning is getting us all prepared for the time to come, judgment. So I just pray that you've had an opportunity to understand that God gives us, yes, all of us, notifications, alerts, however you want to say it. He has sirens blasting about the end time coming, about how we should be preparing ourselves for such a time that we will all be judged. And if you have any grace inside of you, any mercy inside of you, please share this. Share it with someone about the warning signs that we all need to abide by. And those are his commandments. Those are his words. It's his holy word. Because the entire Holy Bible is warning us. Yes, it's sharing with us who Jesus is. That's the whole Bible, who the Messiah is, who God is. But then it's warning us of what's to come. Don't take it lightly. You'll be blessed. And remember Romans 10 and 9. Yeah. Don't make this an emotional thing, please. This is educational for all of us. It's okay to be afraid. But don't make a decision off of your fear, an emotional decision. Yeah, to follow your messed up thinking. My messed up thinking. Yeah. My peers. No. When God says go left, go left. And remember, you have been warned.